I don't remember that. My dad died in 1997. I thought it was 98 in my head. I had it as 98. Oh no, I'm not. I did do that, but not this year because I don't have a pumpkin outfit on. Oh, here, let's see what you are this year. Oh wait, I don't know who these people are. I have Halloween pictures of people I don't know. He had Alcoholics and...
Oh, this is Colorado.
That's Grandma Lois, my mom. That's Aaron.
That's when I was going through my long hair phase.
Gotta remind me what we were talking about.
What surprises you about yourself now?
How little I can handle at a time. My dad was coach and mentor and philosopher and anything that came from my dad I always saw as very beneficial. He taught good lessons. When my father was a teenager, he broke his arm. They casted it. It was casted too tight, and his arm started dying in the cast, and he got gangrene. The medical things they tried to save his arm, barbaric would be a kind word. They spent 2 years trying to save his arm, and they lived in Washington. And after I think about a year, they knew they needed the best doctor in America, and his parents found somebody down in the San Francisco area, and he was sent down there as a young, like 15-year-old by himself as they attempted all this stuff to try to save his arm. That battle ended up in an amputation from the elbow down of his dominant right arm. He had to relearn everything from feeding himself, dressing himself, tying shoes. He was very independent. Didn't stop him from doing the things he loved. He loved sports. He loved tennis. He played basketball. He played all the way through high school. Got a presidential award of excellence for playing varsity basketball with his peers with only his left arm. He was kind of known for his hook shot, which he passed on to me. For my father to have gone through what he did and live the life he lived is literally what made me who I am today. I didn't develop a relationship like that with my mom until I was an adult, and we had a wonderful friendship, and I lost her in 2009. She was really loved by everybody. My mom, even though most of the memories that I built with her aren't mine, they're stories. That's a really sad loss for me. She was my rock. My parents had just divorced as I went into high school. The first people to divorce in a Catholic neighborhood. Felt very ostracized and shame. My parents wouldn't go to church anymore. It was really a hard time for me. My faith really broke at that point because they'd raised me in this church that you do not divorce. And they just did it like it was nothing. And I'm like, well, then how important is this church really? I didn't feel like I had a choice like that as a kid. You just are Catholic. I was working with Nordstrom's, and that is what brought us to Arizona as I came to open the first Nordstrom down in Arizona at the Scottsdale Mall. That move exposed the cracks in my marriage, and within months I saw things that he was able to hide from me. So I ended up being a single mom within a year. And I mean single, like no financial help, no dad in the picture, no dad going to the weekend. He chose to not be a part of our lives. Put on the armor. Yeah, that was definitely not me. That was a means to an end. Trying to put a life together at 37 was not in the cards. That's like the prime of your life. Like you should be at the top of your game and everything. And it was completely not that. It was, financial ruin, self-esteem, a lot of things that I had to build back up. And I did. I mean, I got 2 great kids. Every single day was spent on the phone with creditors. From like the minute I woke up, I'd sit on the floor in that kitchen, that little U-shaped kitchen of the house, call creditors and hope they wouldn't come take the house. I ate Costco green beans for a very long time. But you guys had food, because that's what mothers do. And I'm not laying guilt, it's just I had to make choices. It's my business, it's ugly, and I have to clean it up. Life ebbs and flows, and that I could marry again is proof of that. And Len is one of the first people I met, and I was like, sorry, dude, this is not happening. This girl is, I'm every woman. I was like, I am gonna make it on my own, because men will only bring you down. I was hurt for a long time and put walls up, kept my head down and just kept going. But over time, as I healed and let go of the anger, I was able to broach the topic of love. When Len and I first met, we were both going through our own divorces. So we became friends, and we stayed friends over the years. We kind of bonded over being single parents. We started dating, and within a year we were married and had a beautiful wedding in Hawaii. Just had a tremendous time. Len and I chose each other every day. That's why I know I've experienced love. Look into someone's soul and they're like, I got you. Like, I got you forever. Okay, at least there's one cute picture of me.
That's cute.
Cambodia was a really awesome build. It was different than the first build in that the families that were going to live in the house we built, we got to know them while we built this house. And the dedication ceremony to them was the most, it's that lady that's on my refrigerator. This is Be Grateful. I mean, can you imagine watching people build a house for you? Her mother, they had to carry, she weighed maybe 80 pounds. She had no hair, like she was deathbed and stuff. They had to carry her into the new house. But the daughter, I think, had such pride that she got that over her mom's head before she died. She was so beautiful and loving and just so appreciative of us. It was like, I'm so full. Being fortunate enough that I have already traveled a good amount, I can't be terribly sad about that. I haven't been everywhere, but I've been to fabulous places for eye-opening trips to what the world is like and other cultures, and I wanted more of that. That was in me from Dad. That's totally obvious groundwork. He laid that. And I'm like, I got to climb Chichen Itza pyramid, and you can't even get close to it now. It's all roped off. And I'm like, I just scampered up it. I lived in the scamper up period. I mean, that's pretty, cool. So yeah, things stop, but I still have had this incredibly amazing life. In all aspects, really. How many people get to say that? It wasn't like I was living a life to tick boxes, but now that I'm here and evaluating my life, because I am coming to a box, I realized I lived my life doing the things that I knew were important to me and that will take me into death without regrets and fear. And, this was when, you probably didn't even know, but I had a cancer in my neck.
I remember that.
So this is when my family all came out. That was our house on 32nd. I got adult onset epilepsy after my first son was born. I'd say I was the lucky epileptic. Went on a medication that controlled them, and I lived a really normal life. So normal, my sons didn't know I had anything. I had sporadic seizures over the years, but they'd be one-offs, not regular. And then in 2015, they just kept popping up. Started seeing a neurologist a lot more frequently. He was trying to figure out what's going on, added medications. In October of 2018, I had something called status epilepticus, which is when you seize without recovering in between them. My husband found me and didn't really know what to do because I just kept going from seizure to seizure. That scared the shit out of me.
Who am I?
Huh?
Can you tell me my name?
Uh-huh.
What's my name? Who am I?
You're my husband.
Am I your husband?
Uh-huh.
So you're not scared?
No, I'm terrified.
What?
I'm terrified. And then I stopped breathing, so he called 911. I was taken to the hospital. My heart stopped 2 more times. Was full code at the emergency room. So it was a very traumatic event. Woke up in the hospital a couple days later and didn't know what had happened to me, but also had zero idea anything was wrong with me. I don't even think the doctors did. I didn't know my own house. As my husband walked me around the house, I just criticized it. I didn't like how it was decorated. And there was just an empty bedroom. What is an empty room for? And then he was just like, we just hospiced my mother in here. Like a week ago. And you don't remember that? We lost 5 people that year. We lost Jerry, Adam, Lynn lost a brother, his mom, and there's another one. I have them all written down. Childhood memories. I was really freaking people out when I couldn't remember if I ate lunch, but I suddenly remembered this Christmas from 1975. And that's kind of the progression with dementia, is your long-term memories kind of come back and your short-term memory just keeps diminishing. Yeah, the chunk of time 10 years prior to the status epilepticus, I don't know if I'll ever get that back. It's just pretty much gone. If it comes back, great. That would be a plus at this point, because I'm not counting on it. I didn't know Elliot was born. I didn't know Elliot was a baby. I have a picture of me in the hospital holding him, and I didn't even know he was born. Status epilepticus was a 30-minute. Like, they wouldn't even consider you having it unless you seized for 30 minutes. And now they've moved that window down to 5 minutes. Oh, Cheryl's wedding. Gosh, she looked beautiful that day. They wanted to do a testing where they put electrodes on your head, and I'm really sick, and I'm like, you're gonna put electrodes in my brain, and you understand that this is not gonna hurt. You may seize, but it will be in a medical situation. Everyone around you is there to protect you and stop the seizure as fast as possible. They'll just give you a drug that will stop. That stuff didn't even exist when I had the status epilepticus. There was no rescue medicines yet. The emergency room they used like benzos, Ativan, things that just calm anybody down in a crisis. For the first period, I thought I was working to recovery. That's what you need to do to become Colleen again. The hard part was realizing that this is my new normal. I have to accept that and move forward. That all happened with the diagnosis of dementia. I really spiraled because I had thought I was working for a purpose, an outcome, a return to self. And then you just get told in a doctor's appointment that you have, damage that's going to continue. I was really angry. Like, why the fuck am I working so hard? Why am I doing any of this? That was a lot of processing. You smell anything? My nose, my allergies are whacked.
Very, very light.
Being in your own head when you don't have memories to anchor you and pinpoint and tell you who you are and who the people in your life are, it isn't a pretty place. You just swirl. And that was a really dark, horrible time. I would hide in a closet and scream my bloody head off and cry until Len came home and found. I'd usually do it when he wasn't home because it would scare the F out of him. It did scare the F out of him. I live in a building with 168 units. I don't want them just to judge me on one thing. I'm not this epileptic with memory problems. It's just a part of me. Potentially having a disease where you leave your loved ones with the most pain. You can be hurtful, forget them, be nasty, all the things you're not, and not have any control of it. And I just don't want to do that to my family. So at 55 years old, I got a DNR, and I hope a car crash or a heart attack just takes me out and I don't have to put my family through nonsense. It's just a nonsensical way to die. You don't have it, there's nothing wrong, and your brain is like, yeah, I can't do that anymore. When you start epilepsy medicines, you can't just take any old kinds. It's like this can go with this and this can go with that. So what they are prescribing are only things that can work together. Maybe there's this drug that works really super good. It has been better results than most epilepsy medicines. But they can't prescribe it to me because it would interfere with da-da-da-da-da. They called and said, would you like to see a new neurologist? I'm like, yes, I need to be seen. I am not on medication. And they flipped out. That's just a humongous no-no in the epilepsy world. So I started on a new drug. It's done really well, except for I had a really bad week in September. I'm doing fine.
It's like a fence now. Yeah. He's fenced in. Kenji, you're being so funny.
I know I was bitter, angry, and then as you get healthier, you just learn to try to take back your power. And I just wanted to create a life around me that was beautiful, manageable, safe, that my family would also feel I was safe. And this was the decision to sell the house we were in and move here to a containable thing. I wanted to not feel like my life was shrunk even more by moving into a condo. So I really, really wanted a view. And I feel like it is part of my mental health, being able to feel like I'm outdoors. I can open my door, I can be out there anytime I want, but I can watch a sunset and a sunrise, and I know what the weather is, and I know my neighborhood, the comings and goings from it. It's my entertainment. I mean, it's a lot of things. And when I stopped taking the medicine, I committed to exercising every day unless I had a seizure. That would be my only reason to not exercise. And if I needed a recovery day. But recovery days would only be one. It was like, get your ass going again. Routine is super important, and it's also super easy to go, like in life. But with stuff, not all working, if you don't do it routinely, you may forget. It may slip out of your routine and just be gone. So you give up a lot, and I try to find the silver lining to that, but it kind of also makes me feel a little selfish. But if I don't be selfish in that moment, I'm going to suffer and be miserable and maybe ruin a family event or an outing or something. So learning my boundaries even while testing them, that's me now. That's where I'm at now. Some things, this is as good as I'm gonna get. Like, I almost wanna be like capturing my best year. Before I get sillier,
You're pretty silly already.
it's just gonna get worse. My sound tolerance, my irritability to any sound is what controls what I can and cannot do. My first 2 years, I went to sleep at night with noise canceling and earbuds in my ears. And as I was going through therapy, they told me the longer I did that, it's just, you're gonna delay. But I couldn't even be in my own home, let alone how am I gonna go out in the world without them? I couldn't even fathom that a moment would arise that I could take them off. And that was like for 2 years straight. And then I just kept knowing in my mind, I have to be pushed sound-wise. You've got to take these off. And now I try to have it be a last resort. I think if I'm weakened, everything just affects me like at a higher amount than when I'm doing really well. So after graduating formal rehab, like occupational therapy, speech therapy, rehab stuff, you're instructed on how to continue that training of the brain to recover and build back its ability to form memories and hopefully recover memories. So I did a lot of, at the beginning, word games were really critical. I really needed to increase my vocabulary. So word finding games, crosswords, anything like that. Playing games on your phone keeps your brain engaged. Puzzles, reading, documentaries, like I said, all those things are just part of my daily routine to keep my brain as healthy as I can, for as long as I can. Prior to that, he was the host of a TV show, and I had no connection to how he got into presidency. And nobody really could just answer that question. It's not like a one-sentence explanation. So that turned on a need to understand in me. I could not get enough information, and I didn't know who to trust, so I went to documentaries. So I've studied our U.S. history, our presidential history, the wars we've been involved in, like to get a big picture of our country so I could understand our place and how an entertainer could be all of a sudden in charge of the United States' safety and well-being. I didn't know how to bake anymore. I didn't know how to cook. I have a handful of recipes. So I just have to learn a ton from the British Bake Off. It's educational, but it's also not challenging my attention span. Like I might split up a documentary, so I exercise in between and clear the head out a little bit. So that's really a common way of getting a whole documentary in and not getting my brain overloaded. I also don't even remember watching documentaries, so.
Take a lot of notes.
I know I've rewatched multiple ones because I don't even remember I watched it. You wonder where Elliot got his red hair? This is me.
You sleepy? We wear you out.
This is thinking of how many years I owe to Lynn. 7 years. I'd be dead. Wouldn't have had him. I remember when I got sick, I was so sad thinking the grandkids wouldn't remember me, that I wouldn't live long enough for them to even remember me. And I told Lynn, I just have to at least make it till they're like 10. I think that 10 is old enough to have some actual memories stick.
You got it.
Almost there. Jack's at least. Jack got to 10. So, yeah, he first saved my life by calling 911 and getting me to the emergency room and, you know, in time to be able to save me. The best caretaker anyone could even have, you just can't even imagine. Stepped into a role that he knew very, very little about, not medically inclined. He learned about epilepsy, he learned about TBIs, he took me to all the rehab. Anything the doctor suggested, he would do. He flew in friends and family. He learned how important it was to document my seizures.
Colleen. Colleen. Hi. What's your name, sweetheart? What's your name? What's my name?
Started videotaping them for the doctors, and they were so happy because that gives them so much information that we just didn't even have a clue. Like, we didn't even know to time seizures before. We just didn't know that that was important. His life changed just as drastically as mine. He dropped everything, learned how to be a caretaker, protective of me like a mama bear, you know. They get thrown into whatever it is they're caretaking for, whatever the illness is or situation. And often without any help. He never complained, he just lovingly took care of me for every day. Every day. Michelle, I'm using my meat claws. When you live in the moment, you have to let go of the baggage, or you don't really live in the moment. So, do you have bad days? Absolutely. I mean, obviously, I still cry. Cambodia. Oh, and we owned the restaurant. Look at you guys. Len got sick in July 26th of 24, and he was diagnosed with stage 4 esophageal cancer, and 60 days later he passed. It was really traumatic, really fast, very hard on the family. When Len got really sick at the end, he got a spot at this place down the road, less than a mile, called Ryan's House, and it's by Hospice of the Valley. It was a beautiful place. It was a wonderful place. It was amazing staff. Kind of changed the dynamic for everybody, made it just so much healthier and more positive, and focusing on Len. So about 6 months after he passed, I was like, I want to get back to them. So I walked down and I wanted to see if I could walk in the door. I was like, I don't know what will happen. My husband died here 6 months ago. It was the same feeling. And I knew that was going to be my home. And it's the first floor is why it's called Ryan's House. The Hospice of the Valley is where Len was, is the second floor for adults. But the children's floor is both hospice and it has a respite portion. It's for children who have a life expectancy of under 15 typically. And so I volunteer there every Friday, and it's just beautiful. Like the whole mission statement is that those children have a happy time while they're there. Like they call it camp, and it is whatever makes them happy, we do for them. It might be as simple as walking them around in their stroller. I mean, most of them aren't, they can't walk. They're wheelchair bound, on feeding tubes, nonverbal. So you try to find out what's going to put a little sparkle in your eye and do it for 4 hours straight. Just watch them be happy. And that's where I'm finding that I always get more than I give. In 2021, Len and I started exploring end-of-life options. I didn't want it left on Len, and at that point in our life, we expected that I would pass first. So I don't like cemeteries, so found a place up in Flagstaff. You purchase a tree that is your headstone, and it's in this lovely forest. There's a big meadow that I just love it. It's just as wonderful as I was hoping it would be. Len and I we just fell in love with it. Oh, and Better Place Forest plants 25 to 500 saplings for each memorial tree purchased. I love that. The day we purchased the tree up in Flagstaff, I remember Len and I in the car on the way home from Flagstaff just kind of looking at one another, just kind of giddy. And we just both thought how odd it felt to be giddy after we just bought our tombstones, basically. And we were just like, did you just feel like we bought property? Like, we're just gonna have this spectacular view for the rest of our lives. And I was like, I do, I feel the exact same way. And I doubt we told anybody that, because I think people would think that might seem weird, but it's such a magical, beautiful place that you just have to see it once to understand. I miss Len terribly. I think about him a lot through music. It helps bring back memories and help me hold on to memories. Music is just, it kind of speaks to the soul, and it's just integral to your emotions. I'm not looking forward to passing, but I do look forward to being up at the tree with Len for eternity. That'll be a perfect final chapter.